Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday morning. Happy Sunday morning to most everyone. Now that we're earlier in the day, there's probably people in Europe or Asia or other parts of the world that it might already be Monday. So, happy Sunday or happy whatever day it is to you. Hello, everybody. How are you this Sunday? I am okay. I am trying to get used to life. I think that is something that we become more conscious with as we get older, at least to me. I am much more conscious of legacy, of time, of relationships. I am much more conscious of people around me. I'm much more conscious that, we don't live forever. I'm not sure where you are, but for me, I really want to make a difference in this world. I believe I have a little, but I want to do more. And, we all say, there's a saying that life is short. And, as we get older, it becomes shorter. So, what little time I have left, I want to make the most of it. And I see Dano is highly caffeinated. He has had more of the day than we have. I'm going to probably do a poll in the community section. I really need your feedback on a new time. I don't think this is going to work for a couple of reasons. It's been really hard to get guests to come on at 11 o'clock Sunday morning. 11 o'clock Los Angeles time. I've tried to get a few people and it just hasn't. It's been rough being that it's 11 o'clock. Another reason is I just don't think, when we were at 8 o'clock, 8 East Coast time, 5 o'clock West Coast time, we sometimes had 300 people on a chat and growing and, watching. And now it doesn't seem to have that number. Now, maybe it will grow over time. And we'll see. But I want your feedback. I'm very conscious. Gene Simmons says it perfectly. Gene Simmons from KISS. When you try to reach everybody, you reach nobody. And I'm very conscious that we have a fairly large audience in the United Kingdom. Most of our audience is the United States. There's a fairly large audience in Canada, and our second largest audience is the United Kingdom. So, and like Dano, is very loyal, and he's in the United Kingdom. He makes almost, I don't think you've missed a live stream. So if we go 8 o'clock Wednesday, if we go 8 o'clock Los Angeles time on Sundays, that's way too late for the United Kingdom. So we're going to drop off that audience. So I don't want to do that. But got to figure out a time that is good for East Coast, West Coast, and UK time. Don't know what that is yet. Maybe it's a different day. Maybe Sunday isn't the best day for this. I know, for example, the sidewalk project, Jen and Soma, they start at noon on Sundays. So we get over at noon. In fact, today I'm going to go try to hang out with them. Last week, after we got done, I went up to Chatsworth. Not sure if you're all familiar with Chatsworth. It is a suburb of Los Angeles. I don't know if suburb is the right word, but it is in the San Fernando Valley. It was 109 degrees. And we went out. I went out with another, a lot of people call them mutual aid groups. I call them community action groups. And 109 degrees. Imagine living outside in a tent with no air conditioning in 109 degrees. My gosh. My gosh. Wow. So as we were out meeting people, and I'm probably gonna toggle between I'm still trying to figure out how invisible people can best fit into Los Angeles. I'll be very candid. When I started Invisible People here, we were the only ones doing it. I mean, we were the only ones out amplifying the voice of homelessness. And now there's a lot of other great organizations and advocates doing the same thing. And I'm a real big believer in we have to be conscious about not duplicating services. For instance, if there's a homeless youth shelter in your city, why would you make another homeless youth? Boy, do I need coffee. Dano, pass me a cup. So if there's, enough of this one kind of service, why would you duplicate it? Another is, when I started this 12 years ago, we were it. And now I saw another channel this morning doing homelessness. And I don't want to be in a competition. And what I mean by that is I want to be where we can have the most impact. So I know thank you, Dano. I know at one criminalization, there's a homeless sweep. We were scheduled to go. And at the last moment, something happened. It just didn't feel right. And although when you look online, there were probably 5 to 10 people with their cameras or their phones filming this homeless sweep. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying Invisible People has to figure out where we're going to fit. I talked about a little bit about this last week. We're trying to grow. I'm trying to establish a media team. I learned this Wednesday, I had a meeting that I couldn't get out of. It was an important meeting. But there was also an event going on with police and sanitation and homeless people that I really wanted to be at. But I can't be at 2 places at once. So as I'm back, and today is like a month. I've been back a month. I don't think a smart move is to be a bull in a china shop, if you will. I think the smart move is to, start rebuilding relationships. and seeing where invisible people can create the most impact. Now, if you're not aware, we do daily news on homelessness. You probably saw our mini documentary on the USC medical team to push for street medicine. That's up right now. It's on Gavin Newsom's desk. We have been pushing out on social media. The senator that is behind the bill, the senator that has been behind the bill, has been using our video. We just posted an interview with the senator. There is really a push to, the street medicine bill is a no-brainer because it will help homeless people and it will help house people by reducing taxes. It's a smart move. So I hope Gavin Newsom will not veto it. And but the point I was trying to make is we came in, we created a piece of content. We created several other supporting pieces of content. We're on Google News and we're on Apple News. Janine, thank you very much. That is ideally what we want to do. Not what we want to do. It's where we're going to find the most impact is not just going someplace and filming, right? We're not YouTubers. We're not creating content for views. And Janine said, I don't think other channels compete with this channel. We're a nonprofit. Some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff we post, I know, the mini documentary on the Sidewalk Project, I knew we would lose subscribers, and we did. But we'll gain new subscribers that have an open mind and are willing to work to fight homelessness. Anyways, Chatsworth was really, I'm going to start going out with different organizations. Chatsworth was really amazing for me because I love it when volunteers are getting together to take action. And we happened upon a few people that had symptoms of COVID. And it's 109 degrees, you're homeless. And the group of people we were with were able to get them into some kind of quarantine. I don't know if that was hotel room. Oh, you guys remember Rita? She ran for neighborhood council in Chatsworth. Well, she's actually in Project Home Key. And after the outreach last Sunday, I took Rita out for a meal. I got to tell you, and this is kind of insane. And some of you might have saw it on Twitter. Rita told me they're not allowed towels. They're given paper towels. It's the only site of the Project Home Key and Project Room Key. They're not even allowed to bring in their own towels. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that you're living in a hotel room, which is great. It's far better than a tent. You get your own shower and your own bathroom and you have privacy, but you're not allowed towels. The other rules, sometimes can be over the top punitive, but no towels is just really, really crazy. Okay, I see a lot of questions. So you guys want to chat. Dano asks, how do you think the winter will affect you? IP now from New York to LA. So I've done this quite a lot. I mean, I moved to New York to LA a couple of times. What will be different here? I don't know exactly what particular angle you're asking, Dano, but here there are periods where there's monsoon rains. In fact, let me see if I can find it. Wish I had there we go. There we go. So I can't play this in the group. I wish I had. I wish this platform allowed that. Oh, it does allow screen share. Let me see if I can do this. Let me hold on. Oh, I got to do it. You know what? Nah, well, I'll just put it in the chat. So what year was this? This was 2010. So I just put a link in the chat. Back in 2010, the rain was like a monsoon here in Los Angeles. And they were still kicking homeless people out into the rain every day. And there was an older homeless man. He was probably 70s. And his hands were all white and like prunes because he'd been in the wet, in the rain all day. So what I did is I grabbed the camera, and you can see, and I stood right in front of the homeless shelter. And I asked, I mean, who's making these decisions? And this went all the way to the governor. This went to Arnold Schwarzenegger because it was a National Guard armory. And they eventually, because of that video that started the pressure, they eventually opened the shelters. So I know you're probably asking, am I going to freeze, or am I going to get used to the warm weather or whatever? No, I will be more politically active, trying to help homeless people in the bad weather. I'm trying to get, there's Shams is a gentleman, homeless hero on Twitter and Instagram. He is a homeless advocate in New York City, and I'm trying to get to go see him. So that is what's going to also happen within the next couple of months. And she's probably not on this. I don't know if she joins us, but Meredith runs a homeless services in Vegas called Caridad, which I have been promising forever to get to Vegas to see her. So when I used to live in Los Angeles, Vegas is a 6-hour drive or a half an hour flight. I was in Vegas all the time. And here, because I've been in upstate New York, I haven't been to Vegas. I mean, I've been you can find on our channel, being under the tunnels in Vegas. Yeah, I'm having a little brain freeze this morning. I think it's really not enough coffee. I think this is too early, at least for me. So we got to figure out a way of, or maybe a different time zone. We'll experiment and find what's the best. Love to hear your feedback if this is too early, or I mean a lot. I realize the people that are not watching right now, this doesn't work for them, of course. Hey, Walter. Hi, Allison. Maria. Hello. Hey, Matthew. Unknown. Yes, I have aged a lot, especially the last couple of years. Hey, Juan. Hey, Professor Jacqueline. I think that's your name. If I pronounce a name wrong, please forgive me. Janine, thank you so very much. That your statement there, it means the world to me. I mean, it's interesting as people judge us a lot by our YouTube channel. Thank you, Anonymous. But we do so much more than a YouTube channel. And even behind the YouTube channel, we do a lot to help people that we don't even share. Yeah, Diane, you're right. Homelessness and it's stress. It's the last couple of years taking care of my mom. Hey, Malka, I can make a cup of coffee, but it's I think I need more coffee, and it's just too early. I guess I'm settling in just like anybody. And Malka, I appreciate you asking, but I try really hard not to make this about me, and I really appreciate you guys care. And you're interested, and we talk about, my mom dying and, moving and all that. So, but I really try to make it about homelessness, and I try to make it about invisible people's work and less about me. Matthew, only if you can send a Boston cream, but don't tell my doctor. Walter Elder is, oh my gosh. Addie, you're very kind. Sue, it's interesting is that when I first moved here in 1987, I remember it because, I remember a lot of things about it, but I mean, I was completely broke back then. And I had gray patches in my eye. And I didn't know what was up. You look in the mirror, it was like I had these gray splotches. So, hey, Peter, thank you. So I saved up the money and went to an optometrist, and he says, it's just a smog. You got to get used to it. Dano, I'm in the process of making a bunch of videos just like that. So Janine, whenever possible, I do try to get update videos. You've seen them on Rocky, you've seen them on EJ. Whenever possible, it's a little challenging because we don't really have the funding to do the updates as possible. And to be really, really candid, thank you, Matthew. There's not a lot of positive updates. And we've done negative updates too. People still homeless. Rita, for example, she's still homeless, but she's now in Project Roomkey. Hey, Jacqueline, it's fine. Hello. And your English is fine. Please forgive my not being able to speak Espanol. So, Mama Corolla, congregate shelters suck to begin with, and then pushing people back into congregate shelters. New York City is interesting because New York City actually has the highest population of homeless people. You just don't see them like you do in Los Angeles, and part of the reason is New York City has what's called a right to shelter, and New York City was sued, so it created this right to shelter. And what right to shelter has done is force New York City into investing into all these congregate shelters instead of housing. So New York City spends billions on these shelters, and they're not ending homelessness. So now with the coronavirus, I mean, I'm glad advocates are screaming about this, and I'm glad they're relentless, and I hope they never give up because it's an important topic. But there's just not the political and public will to house people, which is why you guys are so important. You guys understand that we need to end homelessness. Maria, Rita just started an Etsy store, so she's starting to sell masks. She has a very creative background. When she gets a couple more items in her store, I will start sharing it. Oh, Mama Corolla, are you in New York City? Melka, yes, it is. You are right. Yeah, Maria, I think Rita and I discussed it while we went out to dinner, and she had to jump through some hoops for Etsy, but it just helps. Unknown, there's some truth to that. Hello, houseless, not homeless. Addie, you should start an Etsy store. Let me see if she's added anything to it. Let me see. Huh. I can't figure out. She sent me this one item, but I can't figure out how to find her store. Well, I'll ask her. Hey, Matthew, thank you. Hi, Claire. Ooh, you should do a restaurant, Addie. Homemade soup. I mean, I would. That's why I love pho so much, is because of homemade soup. Yeah, Mama, I've seen some of the stuff from. I don't know if you're familiar with Shams, the homeless hero. What a name! Um, but he's been doing a lot of advocacy on that. Snipe Silly. Am I saying that right? Thank you. Oh, soap. I must be hungry. Thank you for the correction. Mugisha, am I seeing that right? Hello. So that's what I thought this time zone would bring in a lot of people. If you're from another country, post in the chat what country you're in, and what time, what day and time it is. And if you're in the United States, what state time it is. Or same with Canada. See, this time, I mean, I'm grateful for all of you guys. There's 130 people watching right now. Normally, when we went later, thank you, Anonymous. There were always over 200. So I'm thinking. I'm thinking that maybe this time zone isn't great for everybody. K-City's in Texas. Isabella's in Arizona. Snipesily, Florida. Wendy is in Rhode Island. Maria is in Florida. Claire is in New York City. Walter is eating soap. Minnesota, Ireland, Denmark. Hey, Al. Yeah, see, it's earlier for people in Europe. It's not too late just yet. Thank you, Snipe Silly Boys. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Hey, Amy in Oklahoma. Judy, close to Vegas. Another Julie in Spain. Allison is in the UK. Seattle Judy is in the state of Washington. I'm going to speculate. Hey, Dave in Pennsylvania. Melka, happy birthday. And I can agree with that. I never thought I'd be here this long either. Hey, Kathy in Florida. Ashley, New York. Nicholas in California. Jacqueline in Brazil. Quebec. Where's Lady T? Oh, there she is. And she's in Philadelphia. Oh, I'm going to mess up your name. I know you're in the group. Bigie. You're going to have to help me figure out how to say that. And I'm glad you're here. I know you watch the channel. I haven't seen you in the chat. You might have been before. I just haven't noticed, and I forgive. Or I forgot. Oh, BG, that's easy. Hi, BG. Beautiful name. Hey, Danny Zika. See, most people are in the U.S. There's a good percentage in Canada. I know Sawar. I mean, Sawar is in Wales. We just had somebody say hello from Turkey. So, most people in the United States, and there's a good portion. So 10% are Canada, 10% are UK, probably 70% are United States, and the rest are other parts of the world. Now, did you guys like nighttime or this time better? So normally we went, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock West Coast, 8 o'clock East Coast. And this is 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So this is 5 hours earlier. No, 6 hours earlier. Nights. Yeah, Jason, I'm thinking either or. Thank you, Jason. You do? You missed the 1 a.m., Dano? Hello, Mick and Tracy from North Yorkshire. I really am itching to get over to the UK. Peter likes this time. Brian prefers 5 o'clock. Yeah, for me, I'm finding this. We're trying it. We're going to try it. Maybe experiment with some different times. This is a little too early for me. What I mean is, my brain still hasn't started thinking, and I haven't been able to get any guests for this time. And I've tried. I don't know if people are going to church or it's just too early in the day, but it has been a challenge. And then later in the day, like as soon as this is over, I am going to get ready and go out on the streets. And I probably won't be back till 6, 7, 8 o'clock, which then if I go 8 o'clock, that's way too early for the UK people. So we're never going to be able to make everybody happy, and live streams you can watch later on, but I just love hanging out with you guys and answering your questions and getting your feedback in real time. You all have been instrumental in helping this channel grow and helping me figure out how to provide content that you guys want. Now, some of it I know, being a nonprofit, we put up stuff that some people may not want, but it has to be, it's important. But what I mean is, like, one of the biggest changes that was a result of live streams in the community section where you guys gave feedback is you all wanted longer interviews. One thing that cracks me up, I don't know if you remember, is YouTube used to be only 10 minutes. I mean, you could not post a video over 10 minutes. So the early videos on this channel, I couldn't let people talk past 10 minutes. So if they started going on and on and on, I would have to get them to come to a conclusion so we could end the video, because that was YouTube's rules. And it was probably because of technology and hard drive and streaming, or who knows, but you could not post a video longer than 10 minutes. And one of the feedback issues that people complain about is they're like, why did you cut him off? Why did you cut him off? Why did you rush him? Well, because YouTube is not going to air the video if I don't. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you I mean, I know from the statistics that average views, I mean, a lot of people probably just log on for a second. Some people might hang out for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Average is around 5 minutes, which is pretty good. How many of you watch from beginning to end besides Addie and Derek? And oh, I forgot to introduce them. If you're new here, Addie and Derek are our moderators, and Addie is formerly homeless, and Derek is currently homeless. Hey, Matthew, thank you. Mama Corolla, she responds to her videos all the time, Brenda. You could ask her in the comments, and most likely she'll respond. And she has her own YouTube channel now. K-City, wow. Wow, Janine. Thanks, Wendy. BG, where are you? I don't know much of you. I mean, I see your posts in the group, and I'm very grateful. What's your story? Coffee Black. Wow. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, John. And it's cool if you don't. There's some creators that I watch their live streams, and sometimes I'm there for 5 minutes, sometimes a minute, sometimes 20 minutes. I don't think I've ever watched a live stream for longer than that. I think Mr. Beast has done some charity live streams that I thought were great, and I watch Daryl Eves does some great stuff, and he's such a nice guy with a heart to help. I watch. So Melka, there's Venice Beach is, but it's all over LA. Their sweeps have started. For those of you that don't know, Los Angeles passed a sit and lie law, and criminalization has started. And one of the reasons I was excited about moving back is to document some of that. But I've got to create a team. I can't be in two places at once. And I realized this week there was a lot going on. Thank you, Juan. And please, guys, I understand. I mean, I wouldn't watch all of me. Oh, Poop Mountain. How do we say documentary? Janine, I would have been in Toronto a couple of times. I usually visit Toronto a couple of times every year, but we were not able to. They just, I think the border is open now, but it wasn't. Ashley, thank you. How else do you say it besides documentary? I mean, I know there's tomato, potato, potato. Is that a thing? I know the English language is kind of messed up that way, but I don't know of an alternative way of saying documentary. Marion, thank you. So let me ask you this. There's 10 minutes left. I figured. And you know what? I am, there is a lot documentary. That's what I said. Could be documentary or documentary. Documentary. Yes, I have heard that. Documentary. Learn something every day. Docudrama. Well, we've been calling them mini docs. So let me ask you this. I feel we're at a new beginning here. What would you like to see go on in this live stream? From my understanding, from hanging with you guys for 2 years, you like this. You like just interacting with the oh, Valerie, wow, thank you. I was just thinking about it yesterday because that's probably one of the coolest things we have ever done. For those of you that don't know, we did a VR movie with Oculus, which is Facebook, and it is really, 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 really cool. But the pandemic killed it. The pandemic killed the movie. What we were going to do, and I even bought the headsets, is we're going to hold events like with politicians and advocates where, they would experience the movie. But the pandemic killed events. It also, people stopped wanting to share headsets. So the movie just didn't have the impact, and we're powerless over that. But here is the VR film for those that you do not know. And please, if you don't have a headset and you know somebody that does, get them to. It's a free download, and it's very well done. It is the story of Rocky, who was homeless at the time. It was yeah, and we did the VR 180 too. And I watched this. Derek brought up the VR 180. I did a tour with Derek of his homeless camp, and the VR 180 stuff is still. I mean, one of the things Invisible People does. If I die tomorrow, there's a few things I hope I'm remembered for, and one of them is always stretching the storytelling envelope. The VR 180 stuff of doing VR in a reality TV type setting was never done before. And it is really, really, really amazing. So what would you guys want? Do you want, and I know I asked all this time, do you like just hanging out with me chatting? Do you want to have more interviews with homeless people or formerly homeless people or people working to help end homelessness? What would make you like this video live stream better? Shay, then you should VR movie. Oops, I didn't spell movie right. Matthew wants interviews. Get a celebrity guest. Who is a celebrity guest that you want, Matthew? Claire, thank you. Matthew wants celebrity guests. He did it in all caps, so he must really want celebrity guests. I stay away from podcasts, and the reason is most people that watch podcasts are what I call the NPR crowd. And this is not a criticism, it's just a demographic. They're usually well educated, mostly white, have a job, make above $80,000 a year. I mean, everybody. I'm just talking about the primary demographic. Where here on YouTube, you get all kinds of people. And one thing that has been really mind-opening to me is the amount of homeless people that consume YouTube, that they don't consume podcasts. Adam isn't a bad idea. So I don't know if you are speaking of podcasts. I did a podcast with Adam, and it was wonderful. And it's just too early to redo that. Flying over trout. Thank you, Flying Over Trout. That's great feedback. A1 and A2, great. Flying Over Trout. Interesting. We're probably, to get those guests, I'll be honest with you. To get those guests, we're going to have to go to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, West Coast time, which makes it midnight East Coast and makes it 4 in the morning in the UK. Thank you, Malka. Hey, Matthew and Corolla, Mama Corolla. Amanda has her own channel. So I had an idea yesterday that I don't know if I can pull off or if I should, and I was talking with somebody in our online support group, or maybe it was just on her Facebook, where she shared something about, how MTV used to have cribs, and there was, Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous, and, those type shows. So I was thinking, like videos of formerly homeless people. There's a woman who just moved into an apartment, and she's showing videos of her apartment all the time. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, we should do like a crib style show of homeless people as they moved into their apartment. Amy, homeless kids is challenging. Hey, Total Control. But you'd have to be nice, Total Control, and that's challenging, isn't it? I actually love that you're ornery. You too, Walter. Ornery is your superpower. Thank you, Matthew. So, nobody should be California Springer. Nobody should be exploited. The thing with kids is that it's an important story, but there are extra sensitivities because they are kids. And legally, if they're under 18, if you don't have the parents' permission, you legally can't share their story. Which that's not a criticism. I'm just stating the law. And I've always wanted to do more on homeless youth. Like, for instance, you're never going to find anybody, there's nobody below the age of 18 on Invisible People. And it's actually a good thing. The law says under 18. And I know there's other channels that I saw a channel that had a homeless girl that was 13 years old on. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, but to get parental permission, often parents are a cause of homelessness. And there's trauma. I'll be honest with you guys. This week I turned down, there's a major, think Snapchat, Google, Microsoft, think, big time. Major brand approached me, and they wanted to do a reunited feel-good holiday stories. And they wanted to do it with homeless people. And I refused. Most people would have just taken the money. This is what makes Invisible People different. And I told them, I said, homelessness, just by the nature of homelessness, you just can't go and reunite people. You just can't go and reunite people because it could be dangerous. You could be bringing back up trauma. You could be doing, I know you want this, oh my gosh, they're reunited, they haven't seen each other in years story, but there has to be some responsibility behind it. So Derek brings up a good so I have done families where the mother is present or the father is present. Okay, folks, it's 2 minutes, and I'm going to try to get to man, I need coffee. Send them over, Dano. I'm going to try to get to the Street Watch Project, and they start in 2 minutes, so I have to run. Anyways, thank you so much for a wonderful time. I'll keep updating on the community section as we continue to find the best time that's going to really fit most people. We'll never be able to please everybody, but we want to get most people. And Dano just sent me coffee, so I'm going to go have a cup of coffee and try to wake up. I don't know why I'm so sleepy here. So you guys, thank you, Addie. Thank you, Derek, for being the best chat moderators. Thank you, everybody that tunes in every week. Thank you for engaging in this conversation and supporting solutions to end homelessness. And you guys have a marvelous week.